Hi guys. So today's video is going to be another funny one-star reviews, and if you've never seen this series that I've done, I take a popular book or series that generally is agreed upon to be pretty great or has an overwhelming amount of 5-star reviews, and then I find the people that very passionately hate the book and I read their very over-the-top 1-star reviews to all of you. I have a whole playlist of these, so if you're interested in seeing this for maybe one of your favorite or least favorite books, I'll link that in the description bar down below. But for today's video, in honor of The Wicked King, the second book that comes out after Cruel Prince being released this week, I decided this would be the perfect time to do funny 1-star reviews for Cruel Prince. Even if you haven't read Cruel Prince, you can still watch this. I always make sure that none of the 1-star reviews that I'm going to read to you give away any spoilers, and I'm also going to give a brief synopsis of the book, so even if you haven't read it, you have an idea of what the book's about, and you can chuckle alongside those who have read the book at the 1-star reviews. This is a story written by Holly Black and follows our main character, Jude. At a very young age, her and her 2 sisters are taken by a fae and brought to the fae land, and she has grown up there, and she is human, and she is very, very much looked down upon and bullied by the fae, and she is trying to navigate this very cruel world and all the cruel people within this world, the cruel customs, and she's doing this as a human, somebody who has the ability to lie, and that is the one advantage that she has over all of the fae. One of the things that this book is kind of noted for is that none of the characters are especially really good and extremely likable in the traditional sense. Everybody's a little flawed, everybody's a little dark, some of the relationships are a little morbid, but that's all you really even need to know about the synopsis in order to have an idea of what the book is about and enjoy these 1-star reviews, which we're gonna get started with now. The first one says, I actually want to be a super genius right now, so I can build a time machine and tell my past self not to read this book. This next one says, I can't believe I spent 13 days reading this. Anti-heroes are fine. They're really fine, but not when they're idiots, or somehow idiots but also smarter than everyone else, magically, somehow. This next one reads, thanks to this book, my useless self has something to add in my resume. I finished The Cruel Prince, even though I was bored to death. They go on to say, and I really, really, really hope that whoever my future boss is, they're geeky enough to know how difficult it is to finish a boring book, because honestly, I think this is the only thing I'm good at, wasting time on trashy books. This next one says 1.5 stars, and in parentheses, if the cover counts as rating criteria. The next one says, oh my gosh, what a bore. Where's the world building? Yeah, I get it. It's fairies. We all know fairies, but don't ever assume the readers know the world already. Or hey, here's an idea. Make it unique. Give us something new. Blah. They continue with, and characters. Are we meant to hate every single one of them? Because I did. None of them have any redeeming qualities. Just none. And actually, while we're talking fairies and world building, did this plot even need to be set in a fairy world? No. It could have been set anywhere, and it wouldn't have made a difference to the story in any way whatsoever. Also, Stockholm Syndrome much? This one is much shorter, and it says, just no. 1 chapter was enough. This next one's also short and says, geez, way too much deception and murdering for me to handle. This one says, I can sum my reading experience up in 2 parts. The first part is literally just me sighing, rolling my eyes, and staring at this book with so much pain in my eyes that my mother sitting next to me got worried. The second part is me looking up into the camera like I'm in the office, mixed with shouting, but what does this even mean? This person says, this felt like the most dramatic high school drama taken to the next level, like they're almost killing her in class, and it's like a minor inconvenience to the teachers and the student. This person says, biggest freaking eye roll. Why do you all like this? I'm confused. This whole story made me feel like I was reading one of those preteen angsty cliche fantasy stories that I'd read when I was 12 years old. Sad. This person says, the first chapter was the best chapter. I really like this person's analogy in there. So it says, have you ever been to a concert by a band you really like and ended up disappointed by their performance? I hope not. It's such a lonely, guilty kind of feeling. Well, my experience with The Cruel Prince felt a bit like that. This next one's salty. It says, if the world building was any good, I would have given it 3 solid stars. I love fairies, not Sarah J. Maas sex-driven fairies, but original, cunning, mischievous, beautiful fairies who think with their brains and not their stuff. They go on to say, to this book's credit, the fairies here were of the latter kind, but then again, there were not enough fairy descriptions. I love fairies everything. Their looks, clothes, houses, parties, dances, foods, but the fairies here could easily be passed as humans for all of their unfairy-like behavior. This one says, I initially gave it 2 stars because I'm not really furious at the book. It just didn't make me feel anything, but then I got furious at my lack of feeling and I gave it straight up 1 star. This one says, it's kind of like when you see someone with so much potential ruining their lives and wonder why would they do that when they could be so much more. They continue with, yeah, that's one of the many feelings I'm going through right now. Mostly annoyance and irritation. I can't lie, during some points in this book, mostly all points, I've wanted to gouge my eyes out because of the sheer stupidity that I mentally had to adhere to. This one says, the problem with this book is that it has everything. Morally great characters, love, desire, ambition, deceit, forest-esque setting, but what is lacking is the magic that weaves all these elements together and puts up the final story. It's as if Holly Black put all the ingredients of cake in a bowl and forgot to mix it and bake it and then expected us to enjoy it. This person says, I absolutely cannot believe I wasted time out of my freaking life to read this. Like, really? I don't get the hype. Seriously. Authors and reviewers here on Goodreads that I raved about this book. And here I am lighting the fire so I can burn the freaking pages. This one says, initial reaction review. Well, I'm pretty sure my soul just died. No, it's dead. I don't tend to hate books that often. I'm indifferent most of the time, and I do enjoy a lot of the ones I read, but this, gosh, I have no words. And the last one, which is my favorite because of a slightly unfortunate typo for them, it reads, not for me, I'm afraid. Never been in fairies, and this one didn't particularly grab me. Anyway, that is it for my funny 1-star reviews of Cruel Prince. Let me know if you had any favorites. Let me know if any of these really resonated with you and you felt very similarly to these people, or the opposite. Did you feel like they couldn't be more off? Like I said at the beginning of the video, I have a whole playlist of these kinds of videos, so if you'd like to see more, I'll have that linked down below. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my Patreon and the charity Save the Children. I always have it linked down below, and I'll see you all later. Bye.